Right, good afternoon. I'm here to talk to you about dark patterns, something honestly, probably just as depressing as the previous speech. So let's jump right into it. What are dark patterns? Also known as deceptive patterns, it's a term originally coined by Dr. Harry Brignall, who defined it as tricks used in websites and apps that make you do things you didn't mean to. Most often these days, in most cases, companies use algorithms to influence you with methods that would fall under this term. But that's not to say they don't exist elsewhere. The algorithm in this case doesn't refer to mathematical ones that we are taught. Instead refers to decision-making programs that decides what gets presented to you, the user. Data is gathered, such as your preferences or interests when you sign up to a social media platform, and then it gets fed into the algorithm. A machine learning algorithm, AI, then performs calculation and makes prediction based on it. What a user with those interests is most likely to click, consume, and watch. The result is then returned back to the user, and then based on what the user does with it, the process rinses and repeats. So what data gets fed into the algorithm? The data, it can cover just about everything, what we mentioned previously, what you click on, what you search for, what content you consume. That's just the conscious part. It can also be how long does your screen lingers on a particular post? How long does it take you to read an article? And because the algorithm returns content that's just like what you already consume, without carefully considering what you do consume, it's very possible to fall into an engagement trap, as the perfect algorithm would continuously return content that's just similar and interesting enough to keep you engaged with it. For example, Twitter, currently X. Political content presented to me on the site has a right-wing bias to them, in my opinion. This is also a phenomenon that's observed by different authors and academics. There are many potential reasons for this. Maybe the platform owner has his own biases and agenda to push. Perhaps there's just a lack of moderation on the social media platform through not enough moderators or rules being enforced. Or perhaps the most simple reason of all, there's a higher chance of me engaging with a post that's political and right-wing. So that begs the question, why does the algorithm promote this content to me, by most means a progressive left-wing person? You might imagine that the engagement with an algorithm, with a platform, can be classified into being positive and negative. Positive content agrees with your view, makes your day a little bit more pleasant. Maybe a clip of a puppy or comedy show. And using our previous example, left-wing news. In contrast, negative content would disagree with you or depict some tragedy. Perhaps someone's calling out some sort of suffering somewhere in the world or spreading fake and malicious information. You'd give a like to a comedy show, but you dislike fake news. You might leave a comment to call out how the post is wrong, and as such, how you interact with the post would influence the algorithm, right? But in truth, the algorithm cannot tell the difference. It's purely logical, and so it cannot distinguish between positive and negative engagement. And therefore, and because all engagement is equally as valuable to the algorithm, and because it wants you to stay on the platform as long as possible, so it will learn that some styles of post generate significantly more engagement, ones that create outrage. Why? Because seeing something that's against your viewpoint is very likely to cause you to interact with the post. As a result, there's a very high chance that the algorithm would intentionally anger you to keep you on the platform, interacting with it. But that's only one way companies use human nature against us. Like all things, how and what we consume has also evolved, and at the very least, video form content has never been easier to consume. Humans naturally have a limited attention span, with more interesting content being able to retain our attention span better. That average attention span has also been decreasing, by the way, and concerningly enough. In the early days of YouTube, good content was what kept the user watching, and so videos were long and conclusions were placed at the end of the video. That was one of the more primitive ways of keeping the user's attention and wasn't very successful. YouTube now rewards high-quality videos that keep people on the platform. That still pales in comparison to our current premier form of content, short-form content. Videos roughly 1 minute in length, pioneered by TikTok and Douyin, and it's now present on just about every social media platform. Why? Because constantly bombarding the user with new information resets that 1 minute attention span. And before you've known it, you've spent half an hour doom scrolling on TikTok, all of which was valuable, priceless engagement given to the algorithm. And so consider, does the attention span make the content, or does the content decide our attention span? Now, before I lose your attention, let me present new information. Here's choice architecture. The basis of the modern economy is trust in the value of currency. So that applies to anything on the internet. But how would you price something that's entirely digital? What makes them worth X amount of money? Value proposition is entirely subjective, and it's impossible to dictate what benefits, rewards is worthwhile to everyone. And so how and what company offer is laden with a lot of traps attempting to best extract money from your wallet. Starting off with digital subscription models, these days most companies usually offer 3 tiers: the undesirably basic, the overvalued or unused, or the top tier with unused features, and the Goldilocks medium tier. Using Netflix as an example here, with the basic plan, you'd be able to watch Netflix. You just have to watch some advertisement every now and then. On the other hand, do you have a 4K HDR device to watch the shows at your best available quality? Certainly not everyone does, and that's a benefit the premium plan offers that not everyone will be able to take advantage of. And so by that logic, that leaves us with the standard plan, without any major disadvantage or advantage it cannot make use of. The user walks away from the screen, thinking they've made a good choice, and Netflix gets $10.99 a month. But in the end, Netflix set the stage. The feature of each plan is defined and offered by Netflix, and they just gave you an option that's a little too bad and a little too good. And so when the user comes to subscribe to Netflix, by our previously established logic, they just look at the medium one, the middle one, and pick it. And when it was the heavily suggested intended correct option to begin with. Beyond digital subscriptions, here's digital currencies, a topic most prevalent in video games. Some sort of premium currency or bundle is offered as an intermediary to both bypass gambling laws and to disconnect the monetary value of a reward or item. This is usually done through value anchoring with the medium bundle. Offering progressively larger and costlier bundles entices the user to purchase the medium bundle. But there are other ways companies further influence us. They might offer us extra rewards, discounts on different regular discounts, bundling in other rewards that you cannot purchase directly with money, or only offer it during promotional events. Ultimately, these are all methods that they try to get you to spend more money through distorting how you value a digital commodity. And so, after all that pretty depressing spiel, what do we do about it? What can we do about this? What is being done about this? Frankly, this is a growing field of research in computing. There are a lot of studies being done, and there are regulations being passed. The most relevant ones to us in the UK are the Consumer Rights Act and EU's GDPR. You can also visit darkpatterns.org, which is founded by Dr. Harry Bricknell from all the way at the end, from the beginning, sorry. On a more personal level, content consumption is ultimately very individual and personal, and you can reconsider how much time and in what way you're spending time on the internet. It's impossible to cut internet use, so merely consider, is there a more positive way that you can spend your time on the internet, and is the method of engaging with the internet truly your choice. And also consider your impact with, the impact of your engagement with the algorithm. You have control over what you consume, and through that, you ultimately do have control over what the algorithm gives back to you. Thank you for listening. Here's a list of references as well as a short list of my suggested reading and watching.